The Life of Romesh, a story of regret and redemption. Everyone, listen to this story carefully, because it's not just one man's story. It could easily become yours too. Life always gives us a chance to change. But if we don't wake up in time, no one, not even the ones who love us most, can save us. There once lived a man named Romesh. Today, he is 48 years old. He spends his days pouring hot tea into clay cups near a railway station, handing it to tired workers, receiving a few coins, sometimes just a smile or a promise to pay later. But when the last train leaves and the night air grows quiet, Romesh sits alone under the flickering light bulb of his tiny stall and looks back. All he sees is regret, not the kind life gave him, but the kind he created. Childhood, the first warnings. Romesh's childhood was like any other child's, simple, full of innocent joy. But while other children dreamed of becoming doctors, engineers, or artists, Romesh dreamed of nothing. His parents, Harish and Lata, tried again and again to guide him. Son, study hard. Life isn't easy. Work now so you can live better later. Their voices were never harsh, always full of love. But Romesh shrugged it all off. Why worry about tomorrow, he would laugh, pulling the blanket back over his head when his mother gently woke him for school. He hated the feel of his uniform, skipped classes to roam the streets, watch movies, joked with friends, stared at posters of heroes on billboards, never once realizing that he wasn't building a future, he was escaping one. And in the beginning, it felt like freedom. Every day was a holiday. Every evening was filled with jokes and laughter. But what he couldn't see was that brick by brick, he was hollowing the foundation of his own life. Failure and denial. When Romesh failed his 10th grade exams, his mother's eyes welled with tears. She didn't shout. She simply looked at him, heartbroken. But Romesh chuckled. Don't worry, I'll pass next time. Next time, too, he failed. Eventually, he dropped out of school altogether. His parents scolded him. Uncle Rajesh came home one evening and sat him down. Romesh, I know you don't see it now, but time doesn't stop. If you don't move forward, it will leave you behind. But Romesh wasn't listening. His world was still full of meaningless fun, and the idea of hard work felt like a prison. The turning point. At 20, something shifted. Romesh began to notice the same friends who once wandered the streets with him were now in college. One had joined the army. Another was training to be a police officer. And Romesh, he was still hanging out at the same street corner, doing nothing. Even then, the alarm bells in his heart were silent. He didn't wake up. Lost opportunities. Hoping to save him, his father Harish used his savings to open a small shop for Romesh. Son, this is your chance. Work hard. Build something for yourself, he said, placing the keys in Romesh's hands. Romesh ran the shop for 2 months. Then one morning he simply didn't open it. I don't like it, he said with a shrug, tossing the keys on the table. The truth, he had never liked responsibility. Slowly, everyone began to distance themselves. His mother grew quiet. His father stopped trying. Even his closest friends moved on. Married, employed, responsible. Romesh remained in his make-believe world. Until one day, it shattered. The darkest day. It was a Sunday. Romesh was at a theater watching a movie with 2 old friends. When he returned home that evening, he saw a crowd. Women crying, neighbors whispering. His father sat on the floor, vacant-eyed. His mother had died that afternoon of a sudden heart attack. Romesh dropped to his knees. For the first time in his life, he felt real pain, the kind that breaks something inside you forever. But by then, It was too late. Too late to say sorry. Too late to be the son she had once believed in. A life unlived. Years passed. Romesh tried to find work, but what could he offer? No education, no skill, no discipline. He worked briefly, washing dishes in a hotel, then lifting boxes in a warehouse. But every job slipped away. He was too used to the freedom he once celebrated. Now that freedom had become a chain. Then came the day his father died, quietly, alone. The house became silent. No footsteps, no voices, just the wind blowing through empty rooms and the sound of regret echoing in every wall. Relatives stopped calling. People labeled him a failure. And maybe, Romesh thought, they weren't wrong. Today, a cup of tea and a heart full of regret. Now at 48, Romesh runs a tiny tea stall by a railway station. Each morning workers come, grab a cup and nod politely. Some pay, some say, "I'll give you tomorrow." Romesh no longer argues, because inside he knows the value of every coin, every moment, every choice. He often sits on a wooden crate in the evenings, looking at the stars and thinking, if only I had listened. He remembers his mother's voice, his father's tired eyes, his uncle's kind warnings. All echoes now. He says to himself, I could have had a family, a home, a future, a name. Instead, I have a kettle, a few cups, and a mountain of regret. But a small flame still burns. And yet, in all the darkness, there's still a small flame in his heart. He may not be able to turn back time, but he wants to stop you from making the same mistakes. If you're between 15 and 20, Romesh says, listen to me, learn from me. Time is not your enemy, but waste it and it becomes your worst nightmare. Listen to your parents, respect their wisdom. School and college don't just give you degrees, they give you discipline, structure, thought. Choose friends who pull you upward, not ones who laugh when you fall. Work may be hard, but it gives meaning. Don't be like me, I fell many times. You stand tall. I wasted time. You respect it. I broke every relationship. You build yours. I lost myself. You find yourself. Because if life ever feels like a game, remember, once it starts playing you, it never plays fair.